reasonably grounded to believe that another water source state is planning measures that may have a significant adverse effect upon it, the former state may request later to apply the provision of Article 12. The request shall be accompanied by the document explaining the setting forth in the ground. So it means whatever is going to happen within the borderline or within the seesaw, there must be proper checks and balances. So I believe it is high time we engage. And I also want to put this to the minister, how far in the area of technological approach, as per the ministry in terms of surveillance, in terms of data protection, in terms of making sure they take ownership of our boundaries. Because these are key things that are very important, without which, we will sign conventions. If there are no protective measures in issues, it becomes a problem. So I believe if there is, we want to hear improvement aspects of it to see that we take ownership of our boundaries and also the protective aspects of our seashore, in which tomorrow we will not be overshadowed by well-established countries where they can intrude into our water boundaries, and they do a lot of ill things that would not even help us. If we are not equipped with those things, I think we will be funnily enough into these conventions without putting proper measures. I think we are in an era of technology, and technology is core in this convention. So therefore, thank you very much, and I rest my case. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you, Honorable Member. I now call on the member for Brikama South to take the floor.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. First, may I seize this opportunity to thank the Honorable Minister for fisheries and water resources for taking this bold decision to bring these two documents for ratification. Because if you look at the time in which they were signed and the time he's bringing it, there is a huge disparity, 26 and 31 respectively. I think already the commitment is there, but you must be very much ready first, after the ratification, to work on the domestication aspect of it, which is very key. Especially with the first one, the Convention on the Protection and the use of transboundary water resources and international lakes. I think this is very, very important. As it was alluded by my previous speakers before me, where they laid emphasis on certain areas. The resources are many, and the Gambia, if you look at the trend in which we are going, especially in the drilling industry, I think there was Far Gambia is on drilling, and British Petroleum came in, they left. So there are a lot of interests that are coming in the form of block to drill oil in the country. And for us, we are very fortunate to have the Atlantic Ocean that also stretches up to our sister country. So this issue, protection, is very, very important here. So we have to seriously work on the domestication aspect of it. I know even by land, by water, we are neighbored with our sister countries. So there are a lot of issues going on. I think this one is highly welcome, and we really thank you. With regards to the Convention of Law of Navigable aspect of it, this is very important. We have our whole river Gambia here that is navigable from the end to the tail to the end. And I think you will also be motivated to engage your counterpart minister if you can encourage and bring in water transportation to avoid the congestion in these tar roads. I think that would really help a lot. Like, it will also connect our various cities along the river bank. So this is very, very important, which we like. But one thing that I want to emphasize, that is the issue of the water policy and the water bill, especially in the domestication aspect. Like alluded to by the Combo South MP, there are a lot of boreholes that are coming indiscriminately. And in fact, some of these boreholes that are dug in our homes and different places, are we in position to gauge the iron content that we consume? And these are very serious, and this can be hazardous. It can bring in any waterborne diseases. So these are issues that we have to look at it critically. Because of the shortage of water, the demand, the network cannot provide, people dig boreholes indiscriminately anywhere. It's not only the iron content, but also there are instances where we have nitrate content. These are all problems. And even if you look at it, are we also meeting in terms of chlorinating them? So that is why the issue of the water policy is very timely. I want to encourage you, the bold decision you took to bring this thing, to make sure that you also bring in the water bill. It's important so that this issue can be addressed because it's affecting the life and livelihood of the Gambians. The other aspect I want to emphasize has been really emphasized by others, the aspect of monitoring, which is very, very key here. So I know, like, the one thing to solve all this problem, seriously work on the domestication aspect. Other than that, I give my full blessing to this document, and I'm very much happy, and I want to thank you, even you at Ramekundanga, bringing this on board. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Honorable Member for Brikama South. I now give the floor to the member for Nyani to take part in the debate.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor. I first of all want to seize this opportunity to thank the Honorable Minister for coming up with these conventions, which is taking a right step in the right direction. Looking at the first convention, that is on the law of non-navigable navigational use of international water courses, I have 2 articles, up to 3 articles that I want to discuss here, but the first article has already been discussed by the Honorable Member for Ǩansala. In order to save time, I will just move to Article 20 and Article 23. Now, looking at the convention, Article 20 and that of Article 23 of the convention, which states, water states shall individually and where appropriate jointly protect and preserve. If you look at the country, the Gambia in which we live, we are surrounded by Senegal in all the sides. So I feel it is very, very important for us to join or to give our blessing to this convention in order for it to be ratified. Because when it comes to the preservation of the water and also in the protection of the water, we will definitely need joint forces in order to protect and preserve our ecosystem and the marine environment within the international water courses. If you also look at the convention, because of the location, the Gambia must be ready to accept it with other nations to protect and preserve our marines and also our sea-bedded products. So therefore, I urge my fellow NAMs or this August Assembly for us to give our full blessing to this convention. Looking at the second convention, that is the Convention on the Protection and Use of Transboundary Water and International Lakes. Looking at the objective of the convention, it is well clear and also a very, very good objective. As you can see, the purpose of this convention is to protect and ensure the quantity and quality and equitable and sustainable use of transboundary water resources by facilitating cooperation. We definitely need the cooperation in order for these things to be ratified. Now, looking at the merits of the convention and why the Gambia should ratify it. The first one is the issue of monitoring, which has already been highlighted by the NAM for Brikama South. I will just skip that one in order to save time. The other one is to make cooperation on climate change adoption, as most of these climate hazards or climate impacts comes through the water cycle. And looking at this water cycle, it subsequently affects our agricultural sector and also our energy. So therefore, there is a need for this convention to be ratified. The convention also will help to prevent the negative impacts of unilateral adoption measures and maximize the benefits of cooperation in both economic, social, environmental, and political as well, which will foster develop for the Gambia the prevent and also conflict consolidated peace. If this convention is ratified, it means it will help to prevent conflicts within these water boundaries, and that will also consolidate peace. It will also make adoption more efficient and prevent negative impacts from unilateral measures when the convention is ratified in this August Assembly. It can also reduce sectoral trade-offs and conflicts. There are a lot of conflicts when it comes to water issues. So if this convention is ratified, it means that all those conflicts will be minimized, or there will be no conflict at the end of the day. So therefore, Honorable Speaker, I join my other colleagues to give my blessing to this convention for it to be ratified in this Assembly. I beg to move.
Thank you. Now the member for Olindo.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. At some point, I think I wanted to withdraw my participation in the debate for the fact that most of the speakers have said exactly what all of us would be saying with regards to the convention. Even if you don't have, sufficient background on what is written in the convention, when you read the text, you realize that the ministry have done a very good job, and those responsible for the convention have already done a very good job. There is no provision in this convention that is giving you a confusion with regards to what we're going to ratify. Perhaps for regional comparison, I just wanted to ask the minister, because when Gambia ratified this convention, you also expect to have partnership with other countries around the sub-region, which is also very important. Maybe the minister can tell us, so far, when the convention has already been, circulated, how many countries within Africa have already signed that Gambia can also join. We will want to know that. That is going to be an important part for us. Other than that, Honorable Speaker, I think what other members said, all of us together, I think we are convinced. I am convinced, and I know most of my colleagues are also convinced with the convention. To give the blessings that it deserves as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I now recognize the member for Joswan.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I think I also join my colleagues to say a very big thank you to the Honorable Minister. He's my dad. I'm not been very fair to, let it go without saying something on this, because this concerns me very well, as everybody knows. So thank you very much for coming up with this, and with your team. It was what am I withdrawing? With your team, it was a job well done. My only concern here is on the boundary aspect of it. Yes, it's very key and very vital here. I think we all know there are issues that normally comes when it comes to boundary issues, especially on our river line and on our water boundary areas. My serial people per se are always complaining that today we are unlucky to be apprehended within our own Gambian boundaries because of what illegal fishing. So this convention will surely help. And I'm also appealing to you how best you can work with our neighbor country, that's to clearly demarcate where our boundaries are, so that at least this issue will never happen. Because the more it's happening, the more conflict is expected. And the more it is expected, at the end of the day, it becomes two countries. So as are our neighboring countries, and we are trying to rectify something, trying to bring in something that can bring in a coded relationship, that will bring in a relationship that can be seen tomorrow. I think it's important we know where our lines are, where should we stop, where should we engage our people. If this thing happens, then there will be no complaint. But at the time we do a lot of complaints from our people to say that our boundaries need to be clearly demarcated to know where we are. I think I don't have much to say. I'm giving my blessing into this, but I'm definitely seeking for your support and approval on this. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Member for Kiang West.
Honorable Speaker, thank you very much. I just have one or two observations on the convention that I would love to look at. The first one is I want to look at amendments to the convention. And it says any party may propose amendments to this convention. That's one. Amendment is Article 21. That's what I'm looking at. And it says proposals of amendments to this convention shall be considered at a meeting of the parties. And it also says 3. It says the text of any proposed amendments of this convention shall be submitted in writing to the Executive Secretary of the Economic Commission for Europe. I don't understand that. Economic Commission for Europe. So I want to ask, are we a party to Economic Commission for Europe, or is Economic Commission for Europe is international organizations that Article 23 is talking about? I could refer you to Article 23 because that has tried to highlight some of the international conventions. But why the Economic Commission for Europe? Are we a party to that commission? Okay. It says who shall communicate it to the parties at latest 90 days before the meeting at which it is proposed for adoption.
Honorable Member?
Yes.
Which of the convention are you reading?
The Convention on the Protection and Use of Transboundary Water Sources and International Lakes. That's what I'm looking at.
Thank you.
Good. So I have asked that question. And entry into force. But before I go to entry into force, I want to look at the withdrawal also to this convention. It says at any time after 3 years, at any time after 3 years, after 3 years from the date on which this convention has come into force with the respect to a party, that 3 years. But in case for an amendment, any parties that proposed an amendment, that amendment would be submitted to the Economic Commission of Europe. I want to be clear with this. But I understand in New York until 18th September 1992, by state members of the Economic Commission for Europe, as well as states having consultative status with the Economic Commission for Europe, pursuant to paragraph 8 of Economic and Social Council resolution over matters governed by the Convention, including the competence to enter into treaties in respect of these matters. I don't understand much about this. It is talking about organizations.
Countries called developing countries are going through. Countries often lack the willpower and the resources on maritime laws to protect it. And then if you look at what is happening to our seas or international waters, those polluting it are the bigger nations. We put the laws, we say we are equal, we say we're going to be treated fairly, but at the end, it is the developing nations that continue to suffer. And these are the resources or the waters that we depend for food and the transportation of goods. And that leaders need to be bold enough or to make sure they come out to step up, to defend what they believe is what is good for all of us. Not to bring laws that is there to bully developing countries or smaller nations. Because every bill that is coming here, we continue saying it is timely, it is timely. Why do we continue saying it is timely? Because we pay a heavy price for it. That's why we continue saying it's timely. But at the end, it's not benefiting us. This is why monitoring is very important in terms of what we are discussing here. This is our sea, this is our water, where we depend for everything I can say, food, even to drink, even for our health, transportation of goods. Bigger nations will violate the laws, nothing happens to them. Smaller nations, when you violate, you suffer for it or you pay for it. I think this is what is more important, Honorable Minister, and then that's the concern that I have to raise. Let it not come here, we start saying it's timely. We are saying timely because we are paying a heavy price for it. So when we say it's timely and here, we mean that when the document is passed and we have amended, it must benefit all nations. All must be equal. So it's not others suffer for it while others enjoy. Time has come, we are in the 21st century, when everything that comes will be based on equality, fairness, but not for other smaller nations to always suffer on behalf of bigger nations. Because even the air pollution or the sea pollution that is going, it's not the poorer nations that are causing it, but we are the ones paying the heaviest price. So my concern here is let's bring in laws that when we say yes, benefit everyone, whether you are a developing country or not a developing country. That's what my concern is. Thank you.
Thank you very much. May I now call upon the Honorable Minister to respond to issues raised and to wind up the debate.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And I thank all the members who took the floor and even those who did not speak. You know, they are all in support of this convention. Like they said, it is very long overdue. I'd like to remind the member for Brikama North. He's very right. It's very well overdue. But I also want to remind him that he went through cabinet only in 2022, January. So that might have been the reason for it coming too late to the National Assembly. So many issues were raised of concern as far as the conventions are concerned. And I want to assure all the members that these are also concerns we share with them. And after ratifications, the experts in the ministry will look at it again and see if during the implementation process, like it is proposed, if there are amendments, it should be deposited at the European Commission. To Europe. It was started in Europe. And it was only in 2016 that they decided to make it worldwide. And some of the concerns that are raised by the member for Kiang West, I think these are matter of procedural issues. Let us be part of the global world, and if we feel as a nation there are certain things that are not implementable in our country and we want to propose some amendments, then we have to be part of it first so that we can propose those amendments. My elder brother, the member for Congo South, mentioned that it is the only region that we have these fishing landing sites. And he also highlighted the need for the monitoring of the activities on that coastal line. Yes, it is very true, the ministry is aware, but I'd like to assure him and other concerns that were raised, is going. The member for Brikama South did mention the localization of the convention. Yes, this is true, and I'd like to assure them that currently at the ministry, the land ready for submission to cabinet, and hopefully before next parliament, we will be able to go through those things and then submit them for approval before this August body. Members have made my work very easy for me, although these documents are very technical, and I can assure you that at the level of the ministry, we are looking at every aspect of your concerns raised here. I think the member for Foni Jarol mentioned that we should also look at the boundaries. Yes, like I said, hopefully the manpower level at the ministry and the departments is what is lacking. But as soon as we go through the reforms, we will be able to see if we have to create some new provisions to be able to achieve some of those the issues that have been raised here. Last month, I attended a meeting in Agadir on fisheries, and I did consult the Minister of Agriculture and Fisheries in Morocco. They are very much advanced in the sector and also very experienced, and they are willing to assist in terms of training, in terms of research, and in terms of monitoring. And their initial reaction is they are even willing to be able to assist us in the research because they are very much advanced in that area. And also, I attended recently a meeting of the Sub-Regional Fisheries Commission of West Africa, that is Senegal, Gambia, Mauritania, Guinea-Bissau, Sierra Leone, and the Republic of Guinea. And some of these issues that have been highlighted here were the issues raised there and agreed upon that we should have, within our sub-region, there has to be information sharing, monitoring and research that we have to conduct together because we all share the same stock. So whether it is water and fisheries. So therefore, Mr. Speaker, I think all the concerns that have been raised here are already issues that have been undertaken by the ministry. And as soon as we go through those reforms, we will be informing the House as to at what areas we need the assistance of this National Assembly. And also the Kiang West, also I think he asked the countries that have already ratified this convention. Is that not so? All Yundum. I want to tell the House that it's charge that has been said unless I left out something, I'll be able to address it. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
(1997) Watercourses Convention and the Convention on the Protection and Use of Transboundary Watercourses and International Lakes done in Helsinki, 17 March 1992. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it. Honorable members, be resolved that this August Assembly do stand adjourned until Monday, 28th March 2023 at 10 a.m. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it. This Assembly now stand adjourned until Monday, 28th March 2023 at 10 a.m. prompt.
Thank you so much, viewers. Momo Benjibe kangin tembena. Comme kafali nyame bale National Assembly la sitin membe kirinjang. Vele nga adjourn again meno keta from Monday. Monday comment sitin basatala kotanke. Comme kafali nyame rek alim follow gang always National Assembly from fembe kirinjang albalon na janne kamaraba official. Feng ka tama jam fana albalon nale andum feng ka fu jam fana albalon nale alalla member sol follow tundu albe daming National Assembly member min momoyal represent jang alba moy lale e ka memfo aning hanata UDP député lem alba moy lale fana e ka mindi ka contribution or mindi, then just follow us every time in National Assembly. Thank you so much for on Monday. Allah Baraka.